With a population of just 335,000, Iceland should really be a footballing minnow. But that all changed last summer when they qualified for the Euros in France, along the way becoming the darlings of the tournament. And it will further change next summer in Russia, when they'll become the smallest nation to have ever qualified for the World Cup finals. But don't let the tiny size of the country fool you, or the fact that before France, they hadn't qualified for a major tournament in 23 attempts. Because this success from the Icelandic team is anything but a fluke. It's a carefully orchestrated master plan that has transformed the tiny volcanic island into one of football's most effective youth development setups. To find out the keys for this success, let's go back to the late 90s to trace the beginnings of Iceland's rise to footballing prominence. With an average temperature around freezing for pretty much half the year, the season runs from May to September, and football in Iceland, well, it could be considered a more seasonal hobby. Realising the need to change this, the Icelandic FA built its first football house in 2000, a full-size indoor facility that allowed youths to train year-round, sheltered from the brutal elements of the country. With the help of some FIFA money, who pitched in around €2 million between 2004 and 2013, similar facilities sprung up around the country, with 7 full-sized and 4 half-sized indoor pitches built, along with 22 outdoor ones and 111 smaller pitches. And like that, Icelandic football changed from a summer league to a year-long sport. Facilities provided, the next phase in Iceland's football revolution was the decision to further invest in the future through top-quality coaching. Bolstered by an increase in TV money, Iceland set up open and what would become hugely popular coaching sessions, and with incredible results. It all means for a country of 335,000, there are now around 800 qualified coaches, 400 of which with UEFA B licences, or 1 per 825 people. To put this into context, in England, this number stands around 1 per 11,000 people. Nearly every player in Iceland's Euro 2016 squad was coached in their teenage years in this new system, and the emphasis on coaching means Iceland now have more top-level coaches per capita than any other footballing country.
I think all these elements together, is really the big part in our success in this wonderful game that football is, especially for us Icelanders now.
Finally, they brought into the leadership of veteran Swedish coach Lars Lagerbäck. Lagerbäck was hired in 2011 with the team languishing at 133 in the world rankings, and instantly changed the mentality, professionalism and philosophy around the team.
He made all the difference. He brought us some professionalism that made the difference. We learned from him, and we are still riding on the road that he put us on.
He taught his players to have faith in his system as he imported a winning culture to a squad not accustomed to one. Lagerbäck realised that Iceland's biggest advantage is derived because of the country's tiny population, not in spite of it. Team chemistry.
I think we realised that although we are relatively few, that we can achieve great things individually and collectively, if we put our minds together.
I think it's just means a lot to people to know that it doesn't matter how small you are. You can always beat the giants if you stick together.
I think our small size actually invigorates us in many ways. It really makes us want to become better, I think, and basically to defy the odds.
A 2-0 playoff defeat to Croatia denied Iceland a spot at Brazil 2014, but rather than fire Lagerbäck, they promoted Heimir Hallgrímsson, who had been Lagerbäck's assistant. Iceland no longer had one manager, they had 2.
The added experience during those years where they both co-managed the team, I think paved the way for continued success for the team. Both Lagerbäck and Heimir were able to use their different sets of strength to benefit the team. It laid the foundation for the continued success.
And Heimir brought something else that Lars Lagerbäck didn't have. Lars Lagerbäck had the experience and the professionalism. Heimir, he had charisma. He had Icelandic, pep, stay together. Heimir was a very good X-factor in this team, and together they are unbelievable.
Iceland qualified for the Euros in France, making history, becoming the smallest country to ever play in the Euros. At the Euros, they were the minnows who dared to be different, and who held eventual winners Portugal to a draw, knocked England out before succumbing to France in the quarter-finals. Along the way, they captured the imagination of football fans everywhere with their noise and colour, and maybe most importantly, introduced the Viking thunderclaps of the world. Lagerbäck handed over the full-time reins to Hallgrímsson post the Euros, but the team proved they're no one-hit wonder, finishing top of a group that contained Croatia, Ukraine and Turkey to qualify for Russia. They'll be by far the smallest nation ever to reach the World Cup. Oh yeah, and they currently sit at 22 in the world rankings too. Not bad for a small team from some remote island near the Arctic Circle.
Setting the world record and becoming the smallest nation to ever qualify for the World Cup makes us even set the bar higher. You know, I think it gives us optimism. It increases our positivity or our positive outlook for the future, and maybe our outlook for ourselves. So, you know, I think it does more than we realize for ourselves.